Welcome everyone, welcome to a new market update, and we've got a very choppy market in which we've tested 41k, tried to bounce back up from 33 yesterday, and now we are back to the range lows which are around 32. What's going to happen next? Well, we do know that we've got a death cross in which it's very likely that we're going to consolidate for the coming period, but what's next? Well, we're going to discuss that right now, as the market sentiment is currently in a funeral. Before we continue, do not forget to subscribe beneath or like this YouTube video if you enjoy the content, and comment if you want to see some special content on our YouTube channel. So what do we see on the markets in itself? We do see that we're still acting inside this range. We tried to break the upper side of the range, but we couldn't. That's not unexpected given the fact that the 50 MA and 200 MA are still acting above us, probably going to be resistance in general. Also, if you do know the Wyckoff theory, we do have the chance of making a spring here, after which we bounce back. So what we want to see right now is that this crucial support zone between 28 to 31, 32, this entire region is currently holding support in general. If we're going to make a new low at this stage, you want to confirm that the bullish divergence stays there. So if lower time frames are going to sweep this liquidity tap or this low, you want to bounce back swiftly and create a higher low. But all in all, given that we've got the moving averages above us, it's going to take a very substantial period of time before we can start breaking upwards again. It's not expected that the price of Bitcoin is going to break through these two moving averages in one go. Usually you will see that those moving averages are going to act like this, and then we can start breaking back above them. Therefore, a period of sideways range-bound accumulation. This is also not unchanged given the fact that during 2016, when we had a big breaker to the upside too, and we started to crash out, you can also see that very long sideways period happened before we started to run again. And it's not unlikely that the current market cycle takes longer than the previous one. But what we do know is that at this stage, if we are going to continue making this range-bound movement, the area that we have marked green is the area that we should be holding as support. If that is lost, I think we're going to have a fall back towards 24k. That's the next support zone. So at this stage, preferably you want to see it hold or sustain support. What do we see on the lower time frames? Well, we do see that we're still making those lower highs in general and lower lows at this stage. We have seen that previously as well. Right now the critical breaker is the previous lower high, which is this area around 35.5. Most likely, if you want to see any kind of reversal, is a bounce back up, swift, and then we are making a higher low before we can start granting ourselves new momentum. So most likely this area is going to be a resistance again, after which maybe we can already make a higher low, or otherwise we can sweep the lows and create another higher low before we continue moving. So what about the altcoins at this stage? Well, not everything is doing bad. Cardano against Bitcoin is still holding the critical area of support, which is pretty much fine. It has been doing that as well during the previous period, in which this is the area that we should be holding between 37 to 4k. If that is lost, I'm assuming that we're going to see a retest at 29. Ethereum Bitcoin tried to break above that critical breaker. We do know that the level to break is this entire region, but it couldn't, and now we are still consolidating. But the critical level is still holding for support, and if that is lost, the same with Cardano, we are looking at 0.5 Bitcoin in general. Cardano against USDT, still dipping in support. If this area is lost between 125 to 137, the entire structure is broken, in which we are most likely going to look for new lower lows and lower highs before we are finding an equilibrium in which the market can reverse. So at this stage, the Bitcoin dominance chart is still following the path that we were looking for. But what is going to happen next? Well, that's definitely depending on how Bitcoin is going to react here. If Bitcoin is going to consolidate at this stage, it seems likely that we can have a bounce on the altcoins as well. You have to watch those Bitcoin pairs to see whether those are going to make continuation patterns or are going to follow with Bitcoin. Because the actual drop down on Bitcoin happened during the last crash of Bitcoin in itself. So the altcoin started to drop at that moment. Stock to flow deflection model says that it's the cheapest option in 10 years. NVT from Bitvavo also shows cheapest option in the past years. But are we going to make a crash towards 20k even further or 24? That's depending on whether we're going to hold 28k to 30k at this stage. So that's the very small update for now. Tomorrow I'll see you again for a fresh new market update. I'll discuss some altcoins. Would you like to see which one? Would you like to see some? Don't forget to comment here beneath. And also do not forget to subscribe or like this YouTube video. And I'll see you again tomorrow.